official union leader of the WSL, Enforcer Captain Mark D'Amato, now controls all skaters.
I am the dominant figure in this league. I run this league.
To gain his position, D'Amato defeated Quake captain Sean Atkinson on the most brutal match race in Rollerjam history. Tonight, the king of the skaters, Mark D'Amato, wages war against the king of the bank track, Richard Brown. It's going to be a bloodbath. The Riot and the Enforcers show no mercy toward their opposition. And Richard Brown is still salty from last season when D'Amato gained his trust only to double-cross him in the end.
Mark D'Amato better watch his back. The Enforcers better watch their back. I'm going after everybody.
One team will be eliminated from the Wild West Shootout next on Rollerjam. The World Skating League as the Wild West Shootout continues. Once again, we're in Las Vegas, and happy to have you with us, everybody. I'm Rory Marcus, along with Lee Hawk Rearman. Tonight, what a matchup on the track. Physical and tough. The Illinois Riot against the New York Enforcers. But what's been happening off the track? Mark D'Amato of the Enforcers is effectively in charge of the league now after beating Sean Atkinson in a match race. But the general manager, Kenneth Logue, he says, no, we're going to go back to the 50s, the old roller derby style. I'm still in charge. I don't care what happened on the track. Tonight, Hawk, D'Amato's going to have to answer that.
Well, I just have a question. Is Mark D'Amato, like, technically our boss? I hope not. But I tell you what, whatever you want to say about this Kenneth Logue character, the general manager of the World Skating League, you have to say the man has persistence. He keeps kicking and scratching. And Mark D'Amato, everybody else in the World Skating League, for once, are unified against one person, Kenneth Logue. But I got to say, I'm starting to kind of like this guy because he is so tenacious.
You better have the first aid ready tonight, because with the skaters on the track, Mark D'Amato, Tim Washington for the Enforcers, Ray Robles, Little Richard Brown for the Riot, this could be a very, very physical, tough matchup.
Well, absolutely. We know the Enforcers like to keep it low scoring, the five-borough lineup led by D'Amato and Washington. But for once, they can't gang up on people because for once, there's two. You got Little Richard Brown for the Riot, and you've got the new addition, Ray Robles to the World Skating League. It's going to be slam-packed, smash-em-up Rollerjam right now.
No doubt about it, it will be, Hawk. But, you know, Mark D'Amato, he still has this whole union thing running through his mind. As you look at him on the track, you're never sure if he's thinking about the game or if he's thinking about his union and trying to run the league and get rid of Logue. And who else knows what he might have in his mind. But right now, the Illinois Riot, what's on their mind is to come out and take this bank track and get ready for their game tonight. The Illinois Riot led by Richard Brown and, of course, Patsy Delgado on the women's side. She'll be out in just a minute wearing those quad skates. She's an old-timer, an oldie but a goodie.
And a good look at her, just like many here in the World Skating League, especially some of the older, I don't want to call her an old-timer, but she knows how to play to the crowd, Rory. She gets them going.
She does know how to play to the crowd, and she yells back at the crowd if they yell at her, too. There's Ray Robles. He is one tough hombre on this track. And the Grand Exalted King, Little Richard Brown of the Illinois Riot. I love to see this guy play.
Well, we're here in Vegas, where if you're named the king, you're the man of the hour. I guess this is his hour, at least for this hour.
Now the New York Enforcers. There's big, tough Janet Abraham, and here comes the leather. Courtney Barlow and Lauren Adams and the New York Enforcers. I think with those uniforms, it's kind of like the Oakland Raiders. They make a statement before the game even begins.
I don't know. If I see Howie Long coming down that little outfit, brother, I believe it.
He couldn't get into it. There's Magnuson of the New York Enforcers. She's been something to be reckoned with in this league lately. But the Enforcer men, man, are these guys tough. You see them skate out. They look like they're right out of Central Casting, as tough as they are. Rocky Bowman goes by. There's Dan Gavani, and the Enforcers almost never crack a smile. Here's a guy, I don't know if he cracked a smile at birth or when he was a baby, but we're still waiting. Tim Washington.
What's he got in his arms? Roy, I've seen it all. He is a walking crime scene. Tim Washington, big nasty, just left the scene of the crime.
Big Tim Washington is out there to help his leader. The leader of some of the skaters, at least in this league, Mark D'Amato. Of course, D'Amato will tell you, I lead everybody, I'm the greatest and all of that. But Richard Brown says he's the king, so who are you going to believe? But D'Amato plays to the crowd, and they might be right about that, whoever brought that sign out here tonight. Well, Broadway, Danny Wolf is in the infield, and he's about to talk to the great king, Little Richard Brown.
Richard Brown, I've got to ask you something. What do you think about your sworn enemy, Mark D'Amato, now head of the Players Union? What do you think of that?
I don't think much of it. I don't care what Mark D'Amato is head of. He backstabbed me before. He's not going to get a chance to do it again. He can take a union and shove it. And why aren't you on your knees in front of the king?
Commissioner Jerry Seltzer said, I don't have to anymore. I went to the commissioner. I don't have to.
Right, Wimp Seltzer. When I get the meeting with him, he's going to be on his knees, and then you will be on your knees.
I'm not wishing you any luck tonight.
Roller Rules, brought to you by Dial 1-800-AT&T for collect calls.
Here are the rules of Rollerjam. There are 4 6-minute periods. The women skate periods 1 and 3. The men skate periods 2 and 4. There are 5 skaters per team, 2 jammers and 3 blockers. The blockers wear white helmets. The jammers have the black helmet with the stripe. Points are scored when jammers lap opposing team members. Here's an example of what I was just talking about. The jammer for the green team breaks out from the pack and circles the track. For each member of the red team that he or she passes, 1 point is earned.
Patsy Delgado, you won't see a jammer helmet on her very often. We saw her play into the crowd. Look for her to be focusing her attention on Big Janet Abraham. She won't have a jammer helmet on very often either, Rory, but both these two young ladies pack a punch. Just watch them go.
Period number 1, we're ready to get going. And look at the black outfits of the New York Enforcers. The girls in the black leather are Lauren Adams and Courtney Barlow. And right off the bat, Courtney Barlow goes out on the jam, and she's being followed by number 57, Crystal Snyder.
I wasn't looking at the outfits, Rory.
You weren't?
Of course not.
What were you looking at?
Nothing.
All right, Courtney Barlow and Crystal Snyder get out there, and Courtney Barlow, who lost a tooth here the other night on a jam, knocks down Crystal Snyder, and that leaves her and Lauren Adams in the flashy uniforms that Hawk doesn't notice, ready to score some points. Patsy Delgado back to defend.
Well, these two jammers making up for the big losses from last season. They've now come into their own, Rory. They're really making a difference here in the World Skating League, especially for the Sisters of Suffering in the New York Enforcers.
Patsy Delgado, the veteran, runs into Janet Abraham. Oh, man.
And then Abraham was armed and loaded. Janet Abraham, no score. Oh, she goes after Patsy Delgado.
They're going to work on Delgado right away.
You're in the box. Get in there. You're in the box. Get in there. Hit that big play. Sit down.
Wow. Janet Abraham.
Jam penalty on Abraham. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Let's go.
That's the ultimate playing innocent. Did you hear Janet Abraham? She said, what do you mean? What did I do? Oh, not much. Let's just help Patsy Delgado up now. And Abraham goes into the penalty box. They must have taken the points away from the Enforcers because there's nothing on the board for them after that jam. And the Illinois Riot now with an advantage with Abraham in the box. But the Enforcers get Lauren Adams out again. Millie Guthrie on the chase for the Riot. Millie Guthrie, number 53, and I guess Lauren Adams, she doesn't need a number, huh?
I tried to get her number, but she wouldn't give it to me.
You can say that about 85% of the female skaters in this league. 100%. Here comes Millie Guthrie. She's from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, hometown of Earl, the Pearl Monroe, as she comes into the back of the pack against a double block. And gets a point. And maybe gets another one. Millie Guthrie doing a pretty good job. She calls off the jam. Millie Guthrie picking up the point for the Illinois Riot. And they lead the game 1-0. Stay with us. We'll be right back to Las Vegas.
Nasty time! Nasty time! Nasty time! Fire!
You chill.
Yeah!
Listen to me. You're going to wait on the whistle.
Somebody found a yellow caution sticker, and he wrapped it around his arm, talking about Tim Washington. The men will be out in a minute.
Well, Tim Washington looks like a walking crime scene. There's not many people who can fit all the letters of caution along his arm. I think he's got room for a few more.
And there goes Courtney Barlow out on the jam for the Enforcers, and following her is Crystal Snyder of the Illinois Riot. The Illinois Riot, of course, led by little Richard Brown, and they've adopted to his skating style. They're an old school team. They know all the tricks, the legal ones and the illegal ones. Patsy Delgado had a few in her book before she ever got here, and she's back there now. But Janet Abraham trying to take care of Crystal Snyder. Delgado eases back to the back of the pack. I think Delgado feels like she owes the Abraham or something, and she's talking it over. Here's some of that strategy we talked about. Oh, there's the left-handed hammer into Abraham, and they get the point. Take Abraham out. And there goes Abraham, and Delgado at it again.
Well, Patsy Delgado, we've seen her several times. A much bigger skater than most girls. We've seen her going after Denise Loden, seen her going after Stacy Blitch. Well, if there's one skater in the World Skating League that Delgado's going to have her hands full with, it's that woman right there, the Janet Abrahammer, the Abrahammer slammer. But Delgado goes low.
Let's go!
Then she goes high. And then Janet Abraham doesn't know what hit her. But hey, they might have got her off balance, but she won the war, Rory.
2-0 is the score now. And the jam is on. This is the first period of the game between the Illinois Riot and the New York Enforcers, and they get Lauren Adams out again. Boy, she's grabbing that jam and helmet almost every time out.
Well, once again, you see the upright skating styles, a lot like Heather Sunderman of the Quakes. A lot of times she leaves herself vulnerable because her weight is too high in her stance, Rory. She's very fast, but sometimes she has a habit of not being able to keep her feet. Let's see how she does here.
Shauna Brown out there for the Riot, and Shauna Brown, number 56, going up against Lauren Adams on this jam. So far, it's pretty even duel. Patsy Delgado's back there to defend whenever the jammers do get to the back of the pack. And they're going to get there in tandem, it looks like. Lauren Adams moves to the inside, and Delgado takes out Shauna Brown. That didn't work out for the old-timer, did it?
Well, and here I was talking about how she's sometimes too upright and actually worked to her advantage there. She stayed upright, didn't give herself a lot of surface area. Delgado tried to take her out, pivot spin move. Here's Delgado, the crafty veteran, says, hey, woman, whoops. Great job by Lauren Adams.
Delgado's having a tough game on those old quad skates as she grabs her knee. 2-1, the Illinois Riot have the lead here in the first period.
Well, that's a tough order to ask her to go head-to-head, toe-to-toe with Janet Abraham on one jam, and then you send the speed after her later. It's like the Air Force starting the air war, then coming at her with a ground war.
Courtney Barlow grabs the helmet, and she's out on the jam once again. Courtney Barlow for the New York Enforcers. She's from Ann Arbor, Michigan, and she's a good skater. This time, at least they don't have both of them out of the jam, as joining Courtney Barlow now is Christine Cosson. And 2 Riot jammers following close behind. Millie Guthrie and Crystal Schneider. Looks like the Riot might get the better of it this time. They do. They caught up, passed, knocked him down, and now it's the Illinois Riot that have a chance to score. Well, both of the Enforcer jammers got up very slowly after being taken out. There's Abraham. How do you get past that? You talk about defense. Abraham, Magnuson on the inside. On the outside, there's April Tootle. I don't know how you try and get by that. Well, apparently, you don't.
Double bulldog by Janet Abraham. The Abrahammer says, hey, Patsy Delgado, you may be an old-timer. No score ruled by Sean Corbin. And Janet Abraham. A lot of attention being directed toward Patsy Delgado of the Riot. Well, here we go. We talked about it. We've seen it. We've started it. Janet Abraham's going to try to finish it, Rory.
She has Patsy Delgado up against the rail, and the referees have their hands full. Abraham has her hands full of Patsy Delgado's hair.
Hold it back. Hold it, Patsy. Hold it, very nice.
She's got her hands full, and she'll have her rear end full of penalty pins, Rory.
The Enforcers trail it, and they also trail in the hair pulling contest, I think. Second period coming up. Little Richard Brown of the Illinois Riot going against Mark D'Amato and the New York Enforcers. You won't want to miss that. When we come back to Las Vegas, we'll have the second period. Riot 2, Enforcers 1. We're back at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, where Broadway Danny Wolf has Tim Washington.
The crowd is really fired up here, but I got to ask you, Tim Washington, before you get on the track, what's with the caution tape on your arms?
The caution tape is to let these punk jammers know when they run up on me, they're coming up against the Big Nasty! Give me a high five, baby! Big Nasty!
Well, Danny Wolf got a big exclamation point from Tim Washington, and I'll back off. But Tim Washington saying, hey, Mark D'Amato, I'm going to give you all the help you need, and they'll be matched up against the king, Little Richard Brown. I don't know if he was watching that interview or not, but Little Richard Brown is going to have his hands full. And Rory, that's a big dude.
I don't think Little Richard Brown watches interviews with anybody else but himself. That's over and over again on tape. But the jam is begun, and we're into the second period of this game as Mo Sanders gets out there against Fred Eichhorn. Sanders for the Riot, Eichhorn for the Enforcers. And there on the jam for the Enforcers is number 16, Fred Eichhorn. He's the only one out right now. Eichhorn for the Enforcers coming up to the back of the pack, and we've talked about Ray Robles, we've talked about Little Richard Brown, and they work a tandem block right now.
Well, watch for these two cagey veterans. We talked about them at the top. Tim Washington and Mark D'Amato aren't used to having two guys to tangle with. Today they do.
These two guys know all the tricks. Washington. To Brown and Robles. The Angel of Death maneuver works again.
Well, usually it's Rocky Bowman and that Angel of Death who becomes the projectile for Tim Washington's caution-taped arms. But he sends Mark D'Amato airborne.
Well, if you can pick Mark D'Amato up and throw him in the air, you've got some muscle. Look at that guy. And Little Richard Brown, he still doesn't back down. He'd have something to say to King Kong if he came into the building.
Well, Tim Washington, I think it may be King Kong in swaddling clothing.
Those are swaddling clothes?
I don't know.
3-2 the score. The Enforcers have grabbed the lead now. And John Morrissey gets out there for New York. And for the Illinois Riot, you have number 57. That's Blaise Leon. And Blaise Leon knocks down John Morrissey and goes on with the jam.
Well, in a typical New York Enforcer five-borough lineup fashion, these guys send out Morrissey. Don't worry too much about scoring, but they are just trying to beat on some of these old-timers for the Riot. And Tim Washington and Mark D'Amato say, hey, you two guys may be getting a lot of press here in the World Skating League, but we're going to take the wind out of your sails early.
And now it's almost like coming up against your boss. Mark D'Amato back there, the head of the Skaters United Coalition, back there to block. And Ray Robles says, I don't care if you're the head of the union. Here's some skates in your back, Mark. And over the railing goes D'Amato. Look at this.
And I wonder what Kenneth Lowe thinks about this.
He likes it. Anything bad that happens to D'Amato, he's in favor of.
But I think it might be a little bittersweet for him. This is the kind of violence he says he wants to get out of the league. And you see two quad-wearing players here, Mark D'Amato and Ray Robles, both with those old-fashioned skates on.
So I guess that makes it an even match if they both have on the quad skates, D'Amato and Robles. And look at D'Amato. That doesn't keep him from flying over that rail, and Robles goes to the box. He did lose his skate. There's a look at the quad skates that Ray Robles wears. A few of the old-timers still wear them. I saw him skating up and down the strip earlier today. 3-2 the score. The Enforcers lead, but Mike Tanner's out there for the Illinois Riot. We're still in the first half. A close, low-scoring game here at the Wild West Shootout. And Mike Tanner, getting on those good speed skates, comes up to Tim Washington, who flexes his elbows. That's always a bad sign if you're the opposing jammer. Washington rips that right elbow right in there. And now he knocks him down. He knocks down the jammer, Mike Tanner. Grabs him by the head. Oh, no, this is bad news for Tanner, believe me. What are you going to do, Tim?
Oh, no.
Puts him on the rail like a rag doll.
Well, we saw this a couple of weeks ago, Rory. He took down, I believe it was Gary Lockamy.
Look at that guy.
Caution's right. Little Richard Brown, hey, mister.
Look at Washington. He wears a 28 collar and a 4 hat.
I think Sean Corbin's being kind with the one jam penalty, and he's inflicted punishment on himself. I hope that floor's insured. Jim, don't take out the penalty box.
Keep that guy away from the buffet or there's going to be trouble. 3-2, the Enforcers lead in this low-scoring game.
Caution, objects in camera may be larger than they appear.
All right, here we go again. Oh, my gosh. Oh, that had to hurt, number 53. Andy Wallace, I hope he's all right. He went face first into the rail. He slides down into the infield, and they're going to call a timeout. No scoring.
Well, I think they're checking on the Andy Wallace, but we saw the, oh, my. And he was just sent into that railing. Look at him bend backwards, Roy. My goodness, I don't think people are supposed to bend like that, but he did.
His body just folds up like a dollar bill. Adams is concerned even on the New York Enforcer side. I think Wallace is going to be okay. He got up and shook it off. There goes Mo Sanders out of the jam for the Illinois Riot. And chasing him for the Enforcers is Rocky Bowman. Love to see Rocky Bowman skate, and he's going to catch Mo Sanders. You watch. Now he sneaks up behind. Gives a little right elbow to Sanders, who barely keeps his balance. Bowman and Sanders battle in the back of the pack. Brown's waiting, and Bowman goes up over the track. A little too quick for his own good that time as he's over the railing. Back to defend the caution stickers of Tim Washington. Sends Mo Sanders temporarily into the railing. I don't know how you could get anything by Washington. Richard Brown says, here, I got an idea. He went back to the back of the pack. Washington's down for a moment. Sanders gets up, and he scored a point on Washington. Mo Sanders picked up that point, and Ray Robles now, as he tried to hip check D'Amato, takes out his own jammer.
Well, with friends like that, who needs enemies? Ray Robles took out Sanders, and he is not pleased with himself or anybody else.
Robles has been around much too long to make a mistake like that. And Robles shakes his head, throws his helmet down. We've reached halftime. We'll hear from Mark D'Amato at halftime. We're tied up 3-3. We are back in Las Vegas. Rory Marcus and Lee Hawk Bruderman with you. The New York Enforcers and the Illinois Riot playing a close, tough, physical 3-3 tie at halftime, Hawk.
Well, absolutely. We talked about the battle between Mark D'Amato and Tim Washington, the New York Enforcers in the five-borough lineup, versus the newly found, I guess, double elimination nightmare of Ray Robles and little Richard Brown. We got everything we called for, and I tell you what, this battle is going on, and right now it's a toss-up, and it's even tied, like you said.
Whoever loses this game is out of the Wild West shootout. Mark D'Amato, of course, has had a lot on his mind while we've been here in Las Vegas. He's on the mind of Broadway Danny Wolf, who's in the infield with Mark right now. Broadway?
All right, thanks, Rory. I guess when you're the head of the Players Union, you're the head of the Skaters Union, and you demand mic time, you get it. You got a list of demands. Well, here's the mic, buddy.
Not your buddy, Wolf. Got that? Yo, listen up. As the founder and the president of the Skaters United Coalition, I am here tonight to present a list of demands that Kenneth Lode III will meet. I call it my death list. D is for dollars. An appropriate pay scale for the upper-end skaters, such as myself, to receive in the 7 figures. And a person like Atkinson in the 4 figures. E is for English only. Skaters such as Suzanne and Posse Chalene will have to pass an English proficiency test. A is for age limit. So skaters such as Richard Brown will not embarrass us any further. T is for trimness. So skaters such as Sean Atkinson won't embarrass us any further. And last, H is for health benefits. Health insurance, health club, jacuzzi, and massage for all the people on my end of the scale. If these demands are not met, it will be the death
of the WSL. And furthermore, for the Riot, they are the scab team of the league. I will take care of you on the track. And Robles, I beat your ass when you were a Thunderbird, and I'll do it now. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna bust your head like a piñata.
Well, Mark D'Amato combining demands with threats, and Kenneth Logue, all those comments directed really at Kenneth Logue, other than the one to Ray Robles, of course, and Logue's nowhere to be found anyway.
Well, but I have to say, I noticed we were both listening intently to make sure he didn't say anything in that little acronym about the broadcast booth, but I tell you what, Mark D'Amato, he gives us so much to talk about. God bless you, Mark D'Amato. Whatever you want to say, whose ever side you're on, there's never a dull moment here in the World Skating League, my brother.
Kenneth Logue enjoys secrecy, apparently, and he's nowhere to be found in this building. We don't know where he is tonight, but we do know that so far tonight we have had a low-scoring, physical contest.
And low scoring and physical is what the enforcers like, and Janet Abraham, she sure does like it. I don't think Patsy Delgado liked it on that one. But right here you see a scare we had. Wallace goes into the rail, and he popped right back up, thanks goodness. But the enforcers weren't done there, and you see Tim Washington giving the angel of death, throwing Mark D'Amato almost to the ceiling, and when he came down, it was carnage.
Our Julie Lynch is standing by. What have you got for us, Julie?
Thanks, guys. Enforcer Mark D'Amato may have gained control over the skaters of the WSL, but questions regarding his sanity have yet to cease. What madness dwells behind these eyes of horror? Last season, Dr. Monclarch tried to unmask D'Amato's true face.
Okay, this boy is obviously feeling rage and anger towards the violin that he has been made to practice over and over and over.
Maybe D'Amato's dementia stems from a troubled past.
You stink of football, D'Amato. Yeah, I don't want to team either. I take football tomorrow. After school on the bike. Yeah, right. Yeah. Shut up. You wish. Come on, I can take both of you on.
Or maybe after a few bad haircuts, he had enough. Whatever the case, this guy's got issues.
What do you think of that when you see this picture?
That is actually a picture of my roller skate, in which I pummel my opponents and roll over them in a fit of rage and anger.
And how does it make you feel after that?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
D'Amato's ever-plotting, deranged mind and a sadistic style of play make him the most dangerous man on skates. Sane or not,
You cheated.
D'Amato now officially controls the skaters of this league.
The third period will be getting underway shortly, and the women will be back on the track. Patsy Delgado and the Illinois Riot trying somehow to get some points on the board. The same can be said for Karen Magnuson and the New York Enforcers, as it's a low-scoring game tied up at 3. Stay with us. We'll be right back to Las Vegas. We're ready to go here into the third period of play as the women take to the track in a 3-3 tie. Wow. Low-scoring game, and it's been tough. Christine Cosson, number 18, gets out there for the New York Enforcers. And Ileana Bonilla is on the jam for the Illinois Riot. In their red and blue with the gold numbers. So Bonilla and Cosson trying to get some points. They've been tough to come by in this game. It's been a tough contest. These two don't jam very often. And they're both trying to get the better of each other right now and set the tone for this second half. Just the two jammers are out. One on each side, and Bonilla tried to take her out with the right elbow and completely missed. Now she comes up to the back of the pack. Shauna Brown's back there to block, and Karen Magnuson is back to block for New York. Magnuson disposes of Bonilla. That was a good play by Karen Magnuson, and now Shauna Brown gets rid of Christine Cosson and holds her hands out to say, boy, that was easy.
And Shauna Brown goes after Karen Magnuson. I tell you what, young lady, you might have Shea Brown as your sister, but Karen Magnuson is not somebody I would want to aggravate. You see her take down Cosson, who looks like kind of like you looked the other night, Rory, after that blackjack game. But Karen Magnuson is aggravated, and I would not want to make her mad.
There goes Karen Magnuson out for the Enforcers, and for the Riot, it's number 57. That's Crystal Schneider. Crystal Schneider and Karen Magnuson. Magnuson puts the big right elbow right into the chest, but that didn't knock Schneider down. She's tough. Second jam of the women's period, the third period of the game, and that time it did knock her down. And Karen Magnuson, boy, she's a good skater. She's a tough customer for this New York Enforcer team.
We saw her as a blocker on the last jam. Her and Shauna Brown got into it. And I think Shauna Brown's making Karen Magnuson mad.
Well, Shauna Brown's about to face Janet Abraham. And that knocks her out of the play and gives Magnuson a chance to score a point. Can she get another one? There goes Delgado into the infield, giving her two. Delgado wraps up with the referee as the Enforcers grab some points because of the blocking of Janet Abraham. That's the end of the jam, and let's see what they got. Three big ones. Karen Magnuson and Janet Abraham, good teamwork, and they congratulate each other.
Well, these two young ladies are the queens of New York. Janet Abraham, big number 16. Karen Magnuson, the captain, almost as big, number 19. But this 1-2 punch of power and finesse, you see Karen Magnuson covertly. I guess anybody going around Janet Abraham is almost stealth just by definition. Great job of the Sisters of Suffering.
That gives the Enforcers 3 points. That was all they had for the entire game up to that point. And now they're ahead 6-3. Who's going to get out of the jam this time? Little Adrian Medrano of the New York Enforcers. And she's being followed by Crystal Schneider of the Illinois Riot.
And one of my favorite scenes every time these Enforcers play, Rory, is when little Adrian Medrano, who goes down, comes out for the opening next to Big Tim Washington. It looks like that old cartoon with the dogs. You know, hey, Spike, hey, Spike. Great visual.
Janet Abraham waits in the back of the pack for Crystal Schneider. Waves the right arm and puts Schneider up into the rail. Flexes her muscles to say, see what I've got? You're not going to get by here. Patsy Delgado is back to assist. Delgado whispers something in Schneider's ear. They come up on Abraham now. Delgado grabs her by the hair, takes her out of the play, and knocks her down. Delgado won that round, and she's not finished yet.
Well, not many people in the World Skating League can take out Janet Abraham and Delgado.
Get in there now! Get in there now! Get your helmet and go!
You hear Sean Corbin directing traffic down there, sending her to the penalty box. Much deserved.
Got a 1-jam penalty on red. Unsportsmanlike conduct for Delgado.
Patsy Delgado gets the penalty. Janet Abraham is held up, and she is not at all pleased with Ms. Delgado, I would say, right now, and I don't blame her one bit.
Well, her and Robles, the two new additions here via the Riot to the World Skating League, always have something to say.
The crowd chanting in the box, telling her to get in the box, meaning the penalty box. Patsy Delgado yells at everybody, fans included.
And let's see if the New York Enforcers with Patsy Delgado in the penalty box can take advantage of this power jam, Rory.
Then they got threes out there now for the Riot, and she's being chased by Karen Magnuson of the Enforcers. Those are the two jammers out. Those are the two jammers in the lead right now. It's a close game, 6-3. The Enforcers have the lead, and Magnuson, now the only jammer out there with a chance to score some points. Being chased, it doesn't matter. As down goes number 55, Norma Marshall, who was giving chase. Now Abraham goes to the back of the pack, and she has an idea. She's going to try and help Karen Magnuson score some points here. Magnuson approaches the pack and goes right on by on the inside. Wow, she was quick enough to sneak by on the inside before anybody really even noticed her going by.
Well, these New York Enforcers are just making it look so easy.
It is easy when you have great skaters like Karen Magnuson, who has done a terrific job in this game here in this third quarter. She's really been the leader of the Enforcers, and she just sneaks by there almost like a cat.
Well, she's the captain of the Sisters of Suffering, and Janet Abraham is going after Delgado, and the refs are distracted by Tim Washington.
It took a while for Sean Corbin and the referees to see what was happening, and Patsy Delgado looks up and says, where were you guys?
Well, the 1-2 punch at Abraham and Washington, pretty good. Washington distracted him. He can do that. And Abraham took full advantage to beat on Delgado after the period.
Delgado feels like she might have a split lip, and if she doesn't, well, Abraham's still out there. She might get one yet. The men are coming up. The fourth and final skating period will decide the game between the Riot and the Enforcers. Ray Robles and Tim Washington, the big matchup. Right now, the Enforcers lead the game 8-3. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Las Vegas and the MGM Grand Garden Arena.
8-3, the Enforcers lead. Remember, the loser is going to go home. They'll be leaving Las Vegas. Period number 4, the fourth and final skating period in this Wild West shootout game. And here we go. Blaise Leon grabs the Jammers helmet for the Illinois Riot. For the New York Enforcers, it goes to John Morrissey. Blaise Leon, he's quick. He can skate. As a matter of fact, Hawk, I don't know if you know this or not, but to get a little extra speed, Blaise Leon shaves his legs. They're just as smooth as silk out there.
Well, I shave my legs. It helps me talk better, Rory.
I didn't notice that.
Here, Phil.
Here's Leon approaching the back of the pack now. As the Riot down by 5 points, which in a game like this seems like a lot. Mark D'Amato comes back to defend. D'Amato has a list of demands. Among them is "You shall not score on me." Ray Robles has some ideas of his own and puts the skate into the back of D'Amato. And that gives Leon a chance to score. And then the knee as the icing on the cake.
Well, and Mark D'Amato threatened the pinata, as he called it. Ray Robles, a little revenge perhaps. Mark D'Amato wanted to exact a little revenge himself. Well, hey, buddy, Ray Robles is an old-timer too. How's it feel, my friend?
Well, I'm sure Robles didn't appreciate that pinata remark by D'Amato. Kind of insensitive for a member of the union, the head of the union, to make a remark like that, I guess. But here we go into the next jam, and J.R. Widener gets out there for the New York Enforcers along with his teammate Freddie Eichhorn, and they lead the pack. Look who's chasing him, though. None other than the king himself of the Illinois Riot. And he did a good job.
And now little Richard Brown has emerged from the pack. He comes up to the double block.
Back to assist is Ray Robles. Little Richard Brown and Ray Robles are back there together. Brown gets the whip and does a nice little maneuver inside to knock Washington down and score a couple of points. He likes to be called King Richard. Have you noticed that?
Well, before the game, he was telling Danny Wolf to call him the king and get on his knees. We talked about this battle.
Oh, D'Amato just kicked him right in the midsection.
Well, the expression on his face says it all. That quad skate may not be good for much, some would argue, but don't tell little Richard Brown it's not good as a weapon. He really gave it to him right there, Rory.
They give a whip to Rocky Bowman. Can he get out? Yep. D'Amato gives him a little shove in the back, and Rocky Bowman gets out there for the Enforcers.
Well, and this guy has really come on this year, Rory. He's added a whole new dimension because he's a pretty fast skater. Adds an actual point production potential to the five-borough lineup, which they didn't have last year. He's been doing a great job this season.
Bill Roquefort for the Illinois Riot knocks Bowman down. Boy, the Riot trying to come back and win this thing and send the Enforcers home.
Well, Bill Roquefort's a big guy at 200-plus pounds, and it worked. They sent him out in the jammer. He took out Rocky Bowman right away.
He's 200-plus pounds, and look at how small he looks compared to Washington.
Washington's 500,000 million-plus pounds.
He waits and grabs, and he's got something in mind.
Oh, man. Quad skate once again.
Let him right into Mark D'Amato.
Speaking of throwback, if Kenneth Lowe wants to go back to the old days of quad skates, he's getting a up-close and personal look as Tim Washington just about strangles, pops the head off Bill Roquefort.
And Bill says, wow, thank goodness he let go of me as we take another look at the D'Amato boost. That leads us into the break. Right now it's close, 8-7 Enforcers.
It's a tight game. It's 8-7 Enforcers in this Wild West Shootout elimination contest. The loser goes home. I know little Richard Brown and Mark D'Amato, they'd all love to spend another couple of days here in Las Vegas, but the loser will lose this one and be gone. Blaze Leon for the Illinois Riot. Fred Eichhorn for the New York Enforcers. Time for one and maybe two more jams in this one-point game. Blaze Leon sends Eichhorn up, over and out. And Blaze Leon comes by to score some points as Brown and Robles do a number on D'Amato. Leon calls off the jam. Let's see what they give him. Just one. One Illinois point ties the game up, Hawk.
Well, it was a great job by Blaze Leon calling off that jam. He knocked down Fred Eichhorn, scored a point, saw that he couldn't score anymore and called off the jam. But right here you see him send Eichhorn over the rail. Then he comes around and scores a point. Eichhorn had gotten back on the track, Rory. Heads up play by Blaze Leon to call off the jam after he got his point before Eichhorn could get his.
Time for one last jam with the score tied up at 8. Whoever gets the better of this one's going to win this game. The loser will go home, and who's getting out? Rocky Bowman sneaks out of the pack for the New York Enforcers. And the red-clad Illinois Riot send a whip out to number 54, Mike Tanner.
And these are the two youngsters this year who have really emerged as scorers for their team. Rocky Bowman and Mike Tanner, the two young guys on these otherwise old teams. And Tanner goes down by Rocky Bowman.
But it's not over yet because little Richard Brown and Ray Robles are in the back of the pack. A double blocking tandem to get Rocky Bowman and knock him down. About 20 seconds left in the jam in this tie game. Tim Washington, Mark D'Amato sneak into the back of the pack to try and help Eichhorn get through. Let's see if Robles and Brown can stop him. Here come D'Amato and Washington. Oh, they took them both down. Rocky Bowman leaps over the two of them, calls off the jam, and the Enforcers win the game.
And they're going to win. Time has expired. And Tim Washington, with his caution tape draped all over his body, is not done. We talked about Bowman having a new dimension. Well, Tim Washington is in another dimension.
Look at Tim Washington go.
Oh, poor Mike Tanner.
Mike Tanner gets knocked down. Robles is still on the track.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want all the parents to hide their kids. Because that is one big, ugly dude, and there's another one.
Well, they've got the market cornered on this Enforcer team. Broadway Danny Wolf's going to try and get a word in with him now in the infield. Danny, take it away.
All right, big, nasty, low-scoring, hard-fought victory for you and the Enforcers. You're into the semifinals. You'll take on the Rustlers, and I'm talking about the G-Force. Gleddy, Gallagher, and your ex-teammate Brian Gamble.
G-Force is G-rated. Come on now. You think they can come up against the New York Enforcers?
Well, Brian Gamble is doing good. They're on
Brian Gamble knows there's only two ways in and out of the New York Enforcers. That's you get beat out and you get beat in. And Gamble, you are about to get beat.
Well, I guess he was emphatic enough about that. Mark D'Amato celebrating the victory as the Enforcers get that low-scoring win. And look at Washington. I still think his head's going to pop off one of these days.
Well, if you keep watching here at Rollerjam, you may see his head pop off. Of course, Gamble, Gleddy, Gallagher, the G-Force, they'll have something to say about that. But for now, Rory, the Riot go home.
The Enforcers stave off elimination, and they're still alive in the shootout thanks to moves like that one by Tim Washington. They love to intimidate. We're happy you were with us tonight from Las Vegas as this shootout continues. For Broadway, Danny Wolf, who's down in the infield, for Lee, a Hawk Ribbon, and for Julie Lynch. I'm Rory Marcus. Thanks again for being with us. Good night, everybody.
Guests of the WSL Rollerjam stay at the MGM Grand Casino, the city of entertainment.